So here's the news. I moved back into corporate. Yes, I used to be in full-time employment and then I took a break. I quit and focused on my entrepreneurial ventures. For 7 years, I've been an entrepreneur full-time. And just recently, I moved back into corporate. If you told me this at the start of the year, that I was going to become an employee again, I would have flipped out. I would have disagreed aggressively. But now I'm super excited for this opportunity and I'm going to tell you why. Stick around. Hello and welcome to On Your Lane. This is the best place for ambitious people who are taking charge of their lives, making that income, making that impact, and living fulfilling lives. Today, I'm talking about my getting back into employment. Oh my goodness, it's been a big shift, and I'm going to just go back a little bit and share insights on why I moved from corporate into full-time entrepreneurship. I was in a place in my life where I really felt lost. I was putting energy into a path that I didn't believe in. So being an accountant in an environment that I didn't feel like I was thriving was not working well for me. I didn't know where I was going with the role. I didn't like what I was doing and I didn't see myself doing it consistently. I felt depleted, lost basically. And speaking to many people about this seemed to be ridiculous because nobody understood my feelings. I would get feedback that I was acting like a spoiled brat. You know, when I should be grateful for this role that I have, I was complaining about it and I was feeling lost in a place where I should be celebrating. But I really didn't feel understood. I had ambitions, I had talents. I just felt like my potential was not being utilized. And after going through a lot of self-therapy, prayer, and just quietness and introspection, I realized that if I continued on that trajectory 20 years in, I was going to regret it. So I made a change. I don't know if you relate to that, but I used to feel like I didn't belong in my life. I used to look at the money I had, look at the opportunities I had, and I would feel like I'm ready to give this up just for peace, just for a sense of significance, like a sense of confidence in who I am and what I was doing. I didn't have that. And to make it worse, I didn't like my work environment, and that just didn't help. So that's when I quit my job. And when I quit my job, I didn't quit to start a business. I quit to take a break. I just felt that should be an option for people. Every time I would talk to people and confide, I would always hear this thing that you never quit your job. It never happens. Nobody does that. So, you know, when you're interacting and you're confiding and you're like, I feel this way, and you're explaining how broken it feels, how lost you feel, and they're like, whoa, but you can't quit your job, that's it. And the more that came to me, I felt even more imprisoned in my work. And so I decided to do something bold because I learned over learning about other successful people's lives that you have to do what you believe. You have to stand up for you and make some bold changes. And my bold change at that time was taking a break. And I told myself that if I want to come back, I will. But I need to give myself a fair shot, give myself a benefit of the doubt by pursuing the things that I believed were on my heart and I wanted to pursue. That journey took me to very, very interesting places because moving from corporate to entrepreneurship is a totally different game. And most of the times, the stories that are shared in entrepreneurship are romanticized. So we'll share about how much money you can make in this, how much money you can make in that, how much money this person is making. The process is never shared. And I was a person who had never gone through a process of building anything. And I was coming from a place where I had risen pretty fast in the corporate ladder. And so I was not used to struggling for income. I wasn't making all the money in the world, but there was no struggle there. There was no understanding of how you make money happen. So I moved from a space where it was fully structured, where the business was booming, where you could sit in this fancy office and make projections, and then I was alone with some capital. Now I needed to make this work for me. I struggled with that, struggled really hard. But one beautiful thing that came out of the process was me discovering myself, becoming very self-aware. Because when the money is not flowing and you begin to see yourself drown in a business idea that you love, makes you pause and question yourself. So I was broken, I was beat down in this business. But I kept moving forward because this was my whole life. I put everything that I had, my energy, my dreams, everything into this business. So I pursued it for a little bit, and it transitioned into different forms from agriculture to personal development, and I grew to love it. I grew to understand it. I grew in my self-awareness, in the awareness of what I want to do, and in my purpose. Now, how did I get back into corporate? So I came to the UK to support my husband. He's studying, and I was like, well, let's just go. It will be a great break for our family. And since my business is online, I knew I could do it there. I got here and started seeing opportunities, and I was like, wait, what? With my qualifications, I could get good jobs, amazing jobs, and I didn't think it was a possibility. There was a big change for me in the environment, in the culture, in perception, because I have always lived in Malawi. I have always worked in Malawi, and coming to the UK meant a huge culture shock, which I was not prepared for. I really was not. So I decided to keep myself in a box. I was going to just work on my business and just take care of my kids and support my husband and have our best life and then go back home. But when I started looking for opportunities, which is important, I think, when you get to a place, and when you're a person who believes in God, you can be hidden from the things that are available around you. So God doesn't want to hide you in the process. He wants you to make impact wherever you're planted. So that is what I did. I started looking at opportunities, and I started finding myself being very scared. And that is something that I learned in entrepreneurship. The ability to see myself being scared, the ability to see myself wanting to run, the ability to just know that I was being a coward and I was making excuses. So when I saw these roles that were available to people like me with my qualifications, my first reaction was to just push them away. I didn't want to look at them. I didn't care. Why? Because I was scared. But when you go back to your place of prayer, when you spend time with God, you realize that fear is not something God condones. So he starts to really reprimand you for it. He starts to point it out. And when you get deeper with your fear, you start to uncover dimensions of yourself, dimensions of some things that you have not dealt with. And those things started to show up in my life, like things like fear of failure, my previous toxic experiences in the workplace, and what could go wrong. Like, you have fear of uncertainty, like fear of the unknown. What are you afraid of? I don't know, but I'm just afraid. And so being a person who is really focused on personal development, I knew that I had to step up. Being a person of faith, I knew I had to step up and then be able to look at the opportunities around me and say, in the time that I'm here, do I want to hide, or can I take advantage of what is around me? And that's what I did. Decided to take advantage of everything around me, and I started to apply for jobs. After 7 years, that didn't feel so good. I didn't like being at the mercy of other people. I didn't like being told no. But again, I'm the kind of person who preaches over and over through these videos, through my posts on social. I preach that failure is part of the process. You have to embrace failure. You have to get out of your comfort zone. And so this was me practicing what I preach, and that was tough. That was tough. But I'm excited now. I'm really excited because I got a role that was beyond my capacity in a company that is beyond my wildest dreams. The learning that is happening is amazing. I am going to grow, and I'm excited for it because I'm outside my comfort zone again, and I am navigating a new dimension. So you see, you can think life is straight, and that is so cool to plan a life that is straight. But life never happens that way. And when you are a person who's pursuing purpose, when you're a person who is committed to fulfilling your potential in this life and to make income and impact and live a fulfilling life, then you will find that life will bring curveballs. And how you navigate those curveballs is what makes your life fulfilling, is what makes you meet opportunities that you never would have met otherwise. I am thinking in a way I never thought I would think about, because I started to see my comfort zone, which is Malawi, and my personal business in my own space. Now, if I have to sit across somebody who is from a different culture to me, and I have to explain to them my relevance, I have to explain to them why they need to pick me, that's a different ballgame. That's a totally different ballgame. So it's been quite interesting. It's been life-changing, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And I am still an entrepreneur. My entrepreneurship is beyond just making money in a business. It is the impact, the legacy that I want to leave behind. So even as I go through this process, I know there are so many things that I'll learn there that will lead to content, that will lead to lessons, that will lead to things that can add value to your life in your journey as a professional, in your journey as an entrepreneur, as an individual who is looking to make a great impact in life. So I have done a lot of talking. It's been from my heart to yours. I just want to share a list. I love lists. So a few things that I have learned from this journey of moving from corporate back to corporate with entrepreneurship all over it. Here we go. You need to be flexible. Be clear about where you want to go, but be okay with the detours that come. Sometimes you hold on to the destination at your own expense. And I love the story of Joseph in the Bible. God showed him that he was going to be a leader, but he was thrown into jail. He was lied to. There was a lot of detours. But on one day, he was in prison. He stayed faithful in using his gifts, even in prison. One day, he was remembered, and he moved from prisoner to prime minister. That is you being flexible. Your vision is still there, so you don't lose yourself in the process. Your vision is still there, so you keep going through the detours, keep doing excellent work. You don't give up, you don't lose heart. Yes, you'll be disappointed, but you keep going. Be flexible with the detours. That's where open doors show up. That's why you meet the interesting people, and it all fulfills your vision. Sometimes it seems unnecessary that I'm going straight up. Why am I having to take a turn? But those turns are what makes life interesting. So be able to ride those turns as you go towards your vision. The other thing is be honest to yourself. You can lie to other people, but you get to do life with you. If you lie to yourself, that's the worst kind of lie you can tell. So be honest about what's working. Be honest about what is not working. Be honest about what you feel. Just because everybody is working doesn't mean you should too. Just because everybody is running doesn't mean you should too. Just because everybody now is producing albums doesn't mean you should too. Be honest with yourself. What do you want from your life? Where are you going with this? Trends come and go, but you get to do life with you. And one thing that I like to ask myself is, if I'm 70 and I am grown and I can't do much else, and I look back on my life, am I going to regret the choices I'm making? Or am I going to look back and say, I trusted God and that was an amazing experience, or I took the chances, I believed in myself, and I lived true to myself? That really checks me and really brings me back on track. Get mentors. You can't do life alone. You need accountability. It really does help to have somebody who is not mixed up in your life, who is able to give you feedback about what you're going through, feedback about the options that you're not seeing. We have blind spots. We all do. But with the right people around you, you'll be able to navigate those blind spots and use them to elevate you and move you forward. So be intentional about getting people who don't just say, yes, oh, it's fine. People who can give you feedback. People who can criticize with an aim to help you move forward. You need those people in your life. And it might mean you ask to have somebody mentor you. It might mean you pay for mentorship. It might mean you read their books. Whatever it is, be intentional about having at least 3 people in your life who can speak into your life, who can be honest, and who mean well the whole time. You need faith. Faith is essential. Life is going to bring challenges. Like I said, the vision you have might not materialize the way you want it. If you have planned to work for 3 years and then build a business in a year and then do something else, you can have a plan. It might look good, and it's important to have a plan. But life will bring its own challenges. And for you to keep going in spite of challenges, for you to keep going even when you don't see the results yet, for you to persevere and push through until you see your results, you need faith. You need to trust God. You need to believe that He goes before you. You need to know that you are supported and guided. That makes all the difference. It allows you to walk into rooms with confidence because you know you're backed up. It is important to build your faith. I can't emphasize that enough. For me to navigate leaving a job, that was tough. I felt so alone. I felt so misunderstood. And I felt like I didn't know what I was doing or what I needed to do. I started the business. And when the business was struggling, I didn't know. I didn't know what to touch. And then moving to a new country, that was also very disorienting. But here we are. Faith helps. Faith keeps you grounded. Faith leads, actually. When I say helps, it almost feels like you're moving and it's just supporting you a little bit. But no, it grounds you and gives you a center and a foundation. So you become daring. And it makes others wonder, why are you so confident like this? It's because you spent some time with God that allows you to have some direction, some confidence that you will win, that you will move forward. And God moves people's hearts in your favor. Sometimes you go into a place and you're wondering why they like you. You go into an interview and you're like, okay, I just blew that. And they tell you they're mesmerized by you. And you wonder, how did that happen? Because of faith. God loves faith. And without faith, it is impossible to please him. And I like that Jesus would always say, be done to you according to your faith. Your faith is powerful. It will work for you or against you. So most of the times we like to use our faith against us. Like you believe the worst things. When you're going through a place, you're like, oh my goodness, what if this fails? What if I fall? What if they don't like me? You're using your own faith against yourself when you could just be excited and say, I have this opportunity. I am amazing. I am going to win. I am supported by God. I am favored and this is mine. Faith is essential. Be consistent in cultivating it. Have humility. That is also key because life will keep throwing lessons your way. It takes humility to acknowledge that you were wrong and now you're going to take a new path. It takes humility for you to learn from other people and say, I don't know what to do. What did you do that worked? How can you help me? It takes humility to actually just acknowledge the fact that you don't know everything and that you're just doing the best with what you've been given. It takes humility for you to learn from other people who are ahead of you without feeling like you're competing with them, which brings you peace really. Because if you feel like you're competing with everyone, that is just a terrible way to live because you always be stressed, you always be on edge. So humility goes a long way. It works for you. It attracts people to you, people who want to help or work with you. It also allows you to learn from others and avoid making all the mistakes you could make if you were proud. Enjoy the process. Every goal that you have will bring a process behind it. That process is that middle where you have started doing something but results are not coming yet. Enjoy that process. When you start building a house, you'll be building a foundation, going deep, and people pass by and not see the house. You might want to say, there's no house here, I quit. But that doesn't mean the house won't come. A process means there's going to be a foundation, there's going to be a middle, there's going to be some trials, there's going to be some levels, there's going to be some doubt, but you will get there if you don't stop. That's how you build a tower. You start with the foundation. That's how you build a house. You start with the foundation. That's how you lose weight. You start with the basics. But results don't come immediately. You won't build a house just like that overnight, immediately. No, you need to give it time. When you learn to enjoy the process, it helps you persevere. But it also means that you will see your results eventually. I like examples that are very agricultural. I enjoy those examples because it's just very practical. If you take a seed of maize today and plant it and get frustrated in 2 weeks because there's no maize for you to harvest, we'll all laugh and think, oh, that is ridiculous. How did you expect this 2-week-old plant to give you actual cobs of maize? But that's what we do in life. We make a little effort and we expect results immediately. We expect results in an unreasonable timeline. It doesn't work that way. If you're a great farmer, you plant that maize and you wait for 3 months. You won't give up at 1 month. At 2 months, you celebrate because you see like, oh, it's not giving me what I want yet, but it's making progress. At 3 months, that's when you'll be like, yes, now my cobs are here. There's a process to everything that is worth having. And you need to have the patience to wait and just enjoy that process, the cultivating till you see the results that you want. So there it is. That's my experience moving from corporate and coming back to corporate and being an entrepreneur all the way. It has been a blast. For me, it represents working in purpose when you are actively pursuing what God has put in your heart and you are facing your fears and you want to achieve your biggest potential. You will have differences, you have changes, you have ups and downs, but you can win and enjoy the process. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, drop me a comment and let me know which point really resonated. And if you want to work with me, there are links in the description. Check them out. And please stick around, like, share, and subscribe. I'm here every week with valuable content that helps you win in your life. All right, so I'll talk to you soon. My name is Mavis Tandizo. I love to connect with you. So check me out on social media. I'm on most of these platforms. And I'd love to hear from you on that end as well. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.